Coming up, a very special edition of Living in the Heart of Virginia, nutrition breakthroughs you need to know about. Welcome to another episode of Nutrition Breakthroughs You Need to Know About. And once again, we are at Nature's Outlet, and joining me is the owner of Nature's Outlet, Charlie Ray. You and Rob, your brother, own Nature's Outlet. And this time we're going to talk with the folks at Garden of Life. For those folks who maybe didn't see the first special, we were talking about other supplements and other companies. In this case, we're talking with Garden of Life. Why did you want to talk about these guys and with these guys?
Hi, Lisa. Well, this is actually really an important issue, topic that we sort of didn't know how important it is. Garden of Life is a digestive health company, sure. And we really, in our stores, have underestimated how many people are having problems with digestive health. Well, who wants to come in and say, hey, I've got this problem? Right. It's kind of embarrassing, potty talk, and, it's people don't want to just come running in and tell people about their problems. So we really didn't notice until we started really just politely asking people if everything was okay. And we realized for most people, things are not okay. There are all kinds of problems with digestion, and fortunately, we've got one of the top experts in the country who can help us understand how to deal with our digestive problems.
And we so appreciate you bringing him back in because we had so many comments on the show when he was here last time, and I have a feeling we're going to learn a lot more in this next half hour with Bruce.
I like to just sit and watch him talk. It's unbelievable. I learn every time he says something. It's amazing.
He's good. I will say that. All right, Bruce, welcome back to the show. Thank you for being here.
It is so great to be back. Thanks for having me.
Well, for those who watch our regular show, Living in the Heart of Virginia, we've had you on the show before, and the last time we had you on the show, we were talking about probiotics. Right. You hear so much about probiotics anymore, on TV, in the media, whatever the case may be. Talk a little bit about the digestive issues and why we're talking about probiotics today.
Exactly. There's so many issues we can talk about, but one of the ones I wanted to touch on today is the role that modern medications play. There are so many Americans that are doing antibiotics, that are doing birth control pills, that are drinking chlorine, that take all kinds of medications that end up chipping away, honestly sort of sterilizing little niches and pockets and folds of the intestine. And what this does is it creates major digestive problems, gas, bloating, a condition where they either alternate with more diarrhea or more constipation. Sure. Sometimes they have a little bit of both, what I call constaria. So there's a lot of discussion about bowel problems, and we find that people who go on antibiotics, especially the big broad spectrum, really powerful versions, right. They tend to really strip the bowel, and sometimes it can last months. I've actually seen studies where their good, healthy bacteria went down like 40%, and it stays way down even 3 months, 6 months later. So you meet a lot of people who, that's when they track the origin of their digestive problems, is when they started an antibiotic maybe months or even sometimes years ago. So often probiotics, which are good bacteria for the colon, can go in there and replenish the ecosystem and get regularity back, help build the immune system. And that's what Garden of Life is all about. We basically build the strongest, most therapeutic, and most sophisticated products that have really ever been on the marketplace.
Wow, that's a lot of information right there. Okay, so we know now what probiotics do, what their purpose is, and how it helps us. So what options do we have as far as Garden of Life? Because I see all kinds of options there as far as probiotics go. You got a lot to talk about there, mister.
We do. We make a whole line, and our line is called Raw Probiotics. These are a really special thing in the sense that, number one, they have more strains than anybody's ever put in a pill. We also have no fillers. We don't use any binders or tableting gums or coatings or lubricants, and we ship these cold. So it all adds up to a product with more cells, more strains, no fillers, shipped cold. And you can find them at Nature's Outlet. They're always available here, and they have a great staff to help support it.
Okay, so we're going to go to a quick break, but you're saying when we come back, we're going to talk about other ways, right, or other issues that these probiotics can help us with?
That's right. There really is a whole suite of effects. We talk about how they play into the hormones, help regulate hormonal discussions, how they regulate gas and bloating and reflux. I think a lot of people have digestive problems and heartburn and reflux, and they don't understand the role that probiotics play. It is profound.
All right, well, don't go away. When we come back, we've got more on probiotics with Garden of Life. Welcome back to the show, and we continue our conversation with Bruce Topping. He is with Garden of Life, and we are once again here at Nature's Outlet in Roanoke. And before the break, we were talking about probiotics and some of the issues, the diarrhea, what antibiotics, and some of the things that they can cause. You're talking about other issues that the probiotics can help with, right?
That's right. There's really a whole suite of other benefits that we're starting to study. One of those is the immune health. I mean, people don't understand that most of the immune system, literally between 70 and 80% of all the immune cells that are in a human body, are actually in the gut. These are the B cells and the T cells. Collectively, we call those lymphocytes. We have a lot of lymph in our gut. Right. So that's a huge area, building the immune system. When people are getting lots of colds and flus, and it seems like they're always got the sniffles and bronchitis type stuff going on, that's when we want to talk about probiotics. Now, the other area is reflux. And this is absolutely huge. I find so many people have reflux, and you know what? Most people don't know they have it. They think that heartburn is the number one symptom that they should know, but it's not. The number one symptom is actually irritation to the throat.
Really?
When the one-way street is going the wrong way, when our food is refluxing back up, it tends to irritate the throat, and the swallowing tube has no defense other than mucus. Okay. And so when we have lots of mucus that's always in our throat, which causes us to constantly clear the throat, when we're burping and belching and coughing and hacking and wheezing and hoarseness and bad breath, that usually points to chronic reflux. And honestly, I mean, taking antacids is really not a good strategy long term, is what all the research has shown. So we want to really help restore the digestive fire and get the food to drain and help the digestive enzymes and acids all work. And probiotics, those healthy critters in our bowel, they make enzymes, they make acids, they help digest our food in a really fundamental way and help it drain so that foods don't ferment and putrefy and end up going back up the one-way street. So I would say reflux is a big one, also building the immune system, and then finally I will mention one other huge factor, and that is skin problems. And when
Skin problems? Yes. Really?
Skin problems have everything to do with the gut. I mean, honestly, it's about 100% of the time. I have literally seen people say that probiotics changed their life. I mean, I know that sounds like hyperbole, but really, I have seen people when they tried so many things from the dermatologist, and then they went and got on a bowel healing regimen, including lots of strong probiotics, and they never looked back, and their skin never looked better. So I will say it's skin, it's the immune system, and it's all kinds of digestive problems, but especially reflux. Give it a shot for that.
That's amazing. I think what happens, or at least in my case, we think of the brain sort of being the one thing that sort of runs our bodies and keeps us going, but I'm finding what you're telling me is that it's down here. It's the gut, in addition to the brain. Is there a connection there?
That's fascinating you say that. There's actually a new area of research, and they're calling it the second brain. We actually have the gut. We're calling the gut is now referred to as the second brain because it actually has a huge collection of neuron-like cells, and we build a lot of neurotransmitters. In fact, most of the serotonin in our body is in our gut. Most of the GABA in our body is in our gut. So all these neurotransmitters often are heavily built in the gut, more so than in the brain even. It's amazing.
Wow, that's a lot. So so take care of the brain, but don't forget, I just think we don't think about the gut and everything down here as being something to really take care of and supplement.
Yeah, people are only beginning to catch wind of how important this is. I think we're almost making up for lost time, that in the past we haven't spent the amount of research and time and energy researching probiotics the way we have calcium or vitamin C or vitamin D. I think the time is coming. This is really one of the most fertile grounds of research in nutritional science today.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so great information there. Now, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about, because I see you have different formulations, everything from kids to men to seniors to women, whatever the case may be. And so when we come back, we're going to talk about that, so don't go away. Welcome back to a very special edition of Living in the Heart of Virginia. We're talking nutrition breakthroughs you need to know about. And once again, we are at Nature's Outlet, and joining me is Bruce Topping, and he is with the great folks at Garden of Life. We've been talking a lot about probiotics. You've taught us so much about probiotics and why we need probiotics and the Garden of Life options that we have as far as probiotics. And so this time we want to spend some time talking specifically about the different sort of formulations that you have. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, we have a lot of them, so we'll kind of go through them. Number one, we have a probiotic for kids. This is a powder that actually is meant for infant ages, 3 months and up is on the label. Okay. This is really taken any way you want it. It can be mixed with breast milk or formula. You can put it right in their mouth. There's no wrong way for the child to take it.
Is it a capsule or a powder?
It is a powder. They often cannot swallow at that age, obviously.
Right.
So this one's really meant for anybody who's dealing with diaper rash or colic or just fussy babies who are gassy and spit up a lot, which is really a form of reflux when you get right down to it. So moving on from that, we have our men's and women's line. This was our original. These are our daily formulas. They're age and gender specific, so we do make a 50 plus, a 50 and wiser. We don't call them seniors, but this is meant for people who maybe don't move their bowels or just have maybe a little lowered immune activity. So the senior formulas are kind of helpful for people that just don't have effortless, regular, and comfortable bowel movements. And then for the men and women's, we have special benefits. So for men, it's about respiratory infections and athletic improvement. We actually found that it really cut respiratory infection rates down in male athletes. So it's really good for the lungs. We market it for men because we studied it in men. For women, we actually have strains that protect the urogenital tract. So they're very good for women to take every day. These are sort of our daily formulas. And now in these bright, colorful boxes, we have what we call the Care line, starting with Colon Care. This is the one for people who have what I was referring to earlier as consturia, either alternating gas with bloating, with diarrhea, with constipation, or people who have a lot of trouble moving their bowels comfortably. This is meant for anybody dealing with irritation or just general malfunction of the bowel. And then finally, Vaginal Care. This one is actually meant for knocking down urogenital infections. A lot of people deal with chronic yeast overgrowth. Fungal problems like Candida are a huge issue. This is the latest strains we've ever seen that are sort of the Navy SEALs at eradicating fungal overgrowth in the body. We actually combined these with special enzymes that go after the spores and really break down those spore shields, because sometimes those critters can be pretty well defended and hard to kill. So Vaginal Care is our antifungal proposition. And then finally, the last two are the Ultimate Care and the Max Care. This is the same blend, and these are designed for people who are coming off of antibiotics or maybe have come off of a cleanse and really want to repopulate their gut, shift the whole ecosystem towards those good bacteria. And these are very, very strong. 400 billion is a powder. The 100 billion in a capsule called Ultimate Care is the same blend, only in a capsule. So these all use enzymes, and they are really meant for people to help replenish their gut, break down old waste products, really kind of cleansing and soothing. That's what the enzymes do. So it's really like a whole suite of products meant for almost anybody. For the men and women, it's just daily support. They're not necessarily dealing with really intense problems. They just want to prevent those problems from ever occurring. And then for the Care line, that's meant for people who are really in a bad way. Maybe they're dealing with chronic diarrhea. Maybe they've had a lot of skin problems. Maybe they just want to repopulate the gut because their digestive tract is a mess. So we make a whole different line of products, but all of them have some really unique properties. Number one, big strain diversity. Humans have always eaten dozens of strains in our food. When we look at traditional kefir, say, as an example, it's between 20 and 35 strains. I think nowadays we've sort of isolated it and almost turned them into like a pharmacological approach where it's just one or two strains, and that's not all bad. That's a step in the right direction. But we want that authentic diversity that humans have been eating in their food supply for hundreds of years, and also raw. No binders, no fillers, no lubricants. We ship these cold.
Well, and I guess that was my next question, is because I see a lot with gluten-free, raw, the no binders. How does your product differ from, say, a probiotic that I may pick up at the drugstore down the street?
Right. There's a lot of differences. Number one is that strain diversity I was just referring to. There's a lot more strains. Most probiotics you're going to find out there have maybe 3 to 5 strains. That's it. And a lot of times they have one. I've seen a lot of that just have acidophilus alone. Some people don't know the difference between probiotics and acidophilus. They almost use those terms interchangeably. Acidophilus is only one strain. We have a lot more strains in our bowel. In fact, most gastroenterologists, doctors, feel we have more than 500 species in our colon. So we want this big diversity that exists out there, not only in our food supply, but also in our bowel. So that's a big one. Also, the levels of cell count. We have 85 billion or 100 billion. A lot of what's at the drugstore is going to be 3, 5, 10 billion. So we're really a much stronger product. And then we ship it cold. That's huge.
And natural.
And absolutely. We don't use any
I think
synthetics.
that's the key.
That's right. These are natural products. We grow them. These living cells are part of what humans have been eating for hundreds of years. We don't use any synthetics in any of our materials, really ever at Garden of Life. We're pretty fanatical about raw materials.
Well, our bodies don't have those synthetic chemical things, so we won't put natural into something that is supposed to be
That's
natural.
exactly right. Now, I will mention lastly, these can be taken any time. You can take them with food. You can take them away from food. They do give directions on the labels, so they're very easy to use, but that's right. We don't use synthetics. They're very easy to take, and it's something that will really help almost anybody with bowel problems, skin problems, and especially a lot of immune stuff.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So we have just learned just about everything there is to learn about probiotics and raw probiotics. But when we come back, Bruce comes back with us because we're going to be talking protein and weight maintenance, all with Garden of Life. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show, and Charlie with Nature's Outlet is back with us. Charlie, we're at the Electric Road store, but you have Nature's Outlet stores all over the place.
We do, Lisa. We've got a store on Main Street in Salem, across from the Salem Library.
Right.
We've got one at the Valley View Mall next to Panera. It's not in the mall. It's outside. Freestanding. Very easy to get in and out of there. People worry that it's hard to get there, but it's not.
It's not.
And then we have a store down on Commonwealth Boulevard in Martinsville.
All right, so Nature's Outlet everywhere. Plus, you have shipping available. So if we're not quite convenient to someone, they can always call over here and you can ship it to them.
Yes, we'll take your information, and then it's just a flat $5 shipping fee. So whatever you order, it's really not a big deal. We have a lot of customers that like doing that.
All right, sounds good and good to know. We were just talking with Bruce earlier. I think we learned everything there is to know about probiotics, and especially Garden of Life probiotics. But we're going to switch gears here a little bit, and we're going to talk now about protein, because you've got some protein stories.
Well, the issue is we've always been talking about supplements, and we need to maybe broaden what we talk about here into some food and some diet and some things like that. You know, if you're not eating properly, the supplements are going to be of limited value. They're going to be more the icing on the cake. You know, you got to eat right, and that's a really important thing. And one of the biggest mistakes that people make is they do not get enough protein. They don't get the right kind of protein. And most importantly, they don't get it in the morning when is probably the best time to get your protein. Most people, I mean, not most people, but a lot of people that are having issues are not even eating breakfast at all. Big
Like
mistake.
me, you know me.
We're going to work on you. You're a work in progress.
You have been working on me for the last couple of years, and you're
You're better
getting
than
there.
you were,
I am.
and we're gonna just keep working.
But part of that I learned, it's just that I learned so much from you and all the folks here at Nature's Outlet, and people like this guy behind me, Bruce with Garden of Life. I mean, he's taught us a lot just in the last 15 minutes of the show.
Well, what's crazy is since he was here last year visiting, the information. I mean, we're going to have a training tonight with our staff. It's all going to be new stuff that's just been learned in the last year.
Always learning. Things are ever changing in the world of nutrition and natural foods, and I mean all of this, and that's why you enjoy bringing these half-hour shows. So now we're going to continue with Bruce, and Bruce is with Garden of Life. Learned so much about probiotics earlier. Now kind of give us a lesson on protein. Why do we need protein?
Right, so the word protein, I always like to point this out. The word protein actually comes from a Greek word, proteus, and it means of primary importance. So the word protein actually means important. And why is it important for our body? It pretty much builds us. Our muscles are made of protein. Our bones, people think they're just minerals. Protein is a big role in the bones. It's also all the enzymes are proteins. All the hormones are mostly proteins. All the coatings on our DNA, everything's made out of protein. They say there's 50,000 different tissues in the body that are built from protein. So
Really?
you might call it pretty important.
Yeah, something you might want to keep an eye on and take care of. Okay, so obviously something we need in our bodies and we need to maintain.
That's right. And a lot of Americans tend to eat proteins that are sort of damaged. They're not raw. Maybe they've been bleached or they've been processed with lots of solvents or they've been heated up. And when you heat something with protein, you sometimes damage the proteins. Depending on how much heat it hit, you'll denature or modify some of those compounds and make them less absorbable, and it just becomes a less beneficial protein. So at Garden of Life, we have made a really special type of protein that we call raw protein. I mean, very simple. And what raw protein is made from sprouts. You know, when we look at animal sources of protein like egg and milk, they're very good too, but they do have to get heated. In fact, they're all pasteurized. They're generally coming from sources where they've been processed. Whereas our sprouts are really in their raw form. we deliver 17 grams of protein from a whole bunch of sprouts. It's all, flax and chia and rice and amaranth. They're all gluten-free. This is not going to bother anybody's digestive tract. And I always love to point out, we put all kinds of probiotics and enzymes into our protein. So when you use raw protein, I hear it all the time. People say, this is the first protein that I don't feel like a lead brick is in my gut. I can run with this in my stomach, and it doesn't make me feel heavy or tired. Exactly. And we have a lot of power lifters that use it, NFL athletes, I think some of the Red Sox Major League Baseball team. We have a lot of people using raw protein. It has become the number one protein out of the entire category. There's over 1,700 proteins. I think we've really hit a really special role, that it's super clean and super digestible. So you don't have to compromise on one side or the other with raw protein.
And now, is it concentrated though? Is it sort of packed in together, or is it? Explain that part of it.
Yeah, right. So it is. It's one scoop will give you 17 grams of protein. So you don't need to eat a whole wheelbarrow full of sprouts to get that amount of protein. It's one scoop. It can be mixed with water, which is workable, but I usually recommend milk. Any milk, almond milk, rice milk. I don't recommend soy milk as much, but it's workable for some people. Or regular dairy, regular milk works well. And so it tastes great. Whip it up in a shaker cup. Often if you use one of our flavored ones, we make vanilla and chocolate, and we have a new vanilla chai flavor. And we've just released one called Raw Fit. And Raw Fit, this one right here, is very special in that Raw Fit uses nutrients that are actually been clinically studied to help weight loss and blood sugar management. So this is one that anybody looking for weight loss or just a little extra kick to make their blood sugar really dialed in. I find that when I use this particular one, Raw Fit, it's like I just don't get hungry as quickly. It really is a lot of protein. This one actually has 28 grams. It's our higher protein version. Okay. And there's a whole bunch of cinnamon and chromium. It's kind of a cinnamon graham flavor. It's great in milk. It reminds me of the bottom of the Golden Graham cereal when you drink the bottom of the bowl and you get that cinnamon graham kind of thing. It's so good.
Well, I know you have a lot of options here that you're going to show us, but let's take a quick break and then we'll come back and talk about all the. I mean, you have a lot of choices. We'll talk about them when we come back. Welcome back. We continue our conversation with Bruce regarding raw protein, really protein in general. And you have so many options here as far as how to get protein in our system.
Right. So we make the raw protein line in several different flavors. We have our raw cacao. It's a chocolate flavor. It's made with raw chocolate. Right. We have our vanilla bean, which uses real vanilla. We have a new spiced chai. And then we have our Raw Fit, which we talked about, the kind of Golden Graham cereal. It's a cinnamon graham kind of flavor. Now, these are meant for protein. Anybody looking to just add protein, maybe they're doing it for after they work out, after their run, their jog. Right. Anybody who's making a smoothie and just wants protein for their smoothie. But beyond that, we have the raw meal. And this is sort of like a whole health food store put in a can. You have all your vitamins, your minerals, your greens and seaweeds and algae. You have a whole bunch of protein. It actually uses our same sprouted protein. And it also has, a whole bunch of fiber and enzymes. I mean, it really is like 5 or 6 products in one. You get your good fats, you get a little bit of probiotics, you get protein, minerals, vitamins, greens, everything. It's really a little bit of our whole line thrown in a can.
And is the raw meal more as a sort of a weight maintenance supplement?
Right. So the two weight loss versions would be the raw meal, which many people use to kind of replace a meal or two in the day. And I will say, if you do our full serving, I challenge anybody to eat within 3 hours. It is very, very filling. I mean, I usually use half the serving, and it still is pretty filling. It's a lot of product. So raw meal's one example, or we make Raw Fit. And Raw Fit has some special ingredients like green coffee bean extract. It has a whole bunch of chromium and cinnamon. It has some herbs for the adrenal glands to help with sugar craving. So that's kind of a special formula for that one.
So in essence, you just have different options, and it's good for folks to come into the Nature's Outlet store and talk to the folks here and kind of tell them what you're looking for, and they can kind of fit you to the right protein product.
That's right. And I always, I love one of the things about our line is that we are USDA organic. You'll see that big seal right on the front. This means that our product has no pesticides, no synthetic fertilizers. The way we process it is very, very clean. They're dried at low temperature. We really want stuff that is super clean. And I also point out it's non-GMO verified. We really, as a company, we are striving to make sure that everything we use, we're a fanatic about raw materials, and we want to make sure everything is not genetically engineered. We don't want Frankenfoods from the chemistry lab in our product. So that's a big part of our formulas, organic and non-GMO.
All right, well, bottom line here. Why do we need this protein?
Right. So in the morning, when people use raw protein or raw meal, they tend to just have a much better day. They have more energy throughout the day. You're building all those good adrenal hormones and all the signals in the body. You're building neurotransmitters. People tend to be more awake and alert. It tends to help you repair for bone and muscle recovery, for workouts. I mean, there's really hundreds and hundreds of different benefits for protein. I think it's one of those nutrients that, as Charlie said, people often don't understand. They think that skipping breakfast is going to help them lose weight, when in reality that tends to slow down their metabolism and work against their hormone balance and their neurotransmitter balance. So it's like, make sure to get the protein, and ideally get it in a raw form that's super clean and is very digestible. That's what Garden of Life is all about.
It's almost like a superfood because it affects and can do so much for you.
That's right. I mean, as we said at the top, protein is very important. The name itself. I mean, this is something that almost every human being will really feel the benefits of. Do the raw protein or the raw meal in the morning, and you'll just have generally a better day and a healthier body for it.
All right. Well, I think we've learned just about everything there is between the probiotics and the protein. This has been a great lesson. We look forward to having you back. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this. All right, thank you all so much for joining us. And Charlie, you have outdone yourself again. Another show packed full of information. Where'd you find this guy?
I got lucky, I guess. We go to these trade shows, and while everybody else is trying to, I guess, buy cosmetics, I've tried to figure out who the smartest people in the industry are and figure out how to get them to come to our market to educate people, and that's what we've done.
And Bruce, you've been here before, and we've done segments. I think the last time you were here, we talked about probiotics, and we talked this half hour probiotics and proteins. But let's remind folks, you're more than just probiotics and protein.
That's right. We make multivitamins, we make digestive enzymes, we make anti-inflammatories, we make a really strong omega-3 product. It's made in Germany. I mean, we make a really special line. We're actually become one of the best-selling lines in the industry. So I think Garden of Life is becoming a much more well-known, more trusted line in the industry for millions of people.
I have to agree. And of course, Charlie and all the folks at all the Nature's Outlet stores, you carry Garden of Life. And if folks have questions, they can always come to you guys.
Yeah, Garden of Life is a great company. There's a lot to it, and they do a wonderful thing. They train our staff. We're going to train all night tonight. It's going to be great. Our staff's going to become mini Bruces. So come on in and talk to us, and we'll be happy to share what we learn. And if you use their products, you're gonna feel better. It's just the bottom line.
All right. Well, thank you for having us again. And Bruce, thank you so much for being here. We'll see you the next time around. And thank you as well for watching. We'll see you next time.